back to another episode of Atkins Ever After. I'm one half of your hosting, Mike, and this is Baby.
Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back, you guys. We really appreciate you being back with us for more relationship positivity this week. We do appreciate all of your support as well. I'll share some things at the end of this video, but for now, let's get into our appreciation post.
All right.
Baby, will you go first?
Sure, absolutely. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes, Chick-fil-A. So, I appreciate your problem-solving skills.
Oh.
Yeah, you can fix anything. You can figure anything out. Any issues regarding life, business, anything, technology.
Oh.
You can fix anything, and you fix relationships. I know you fixed some relationships in my life, so I appreciate it, and I appreciate how you just fix everything.
Thank you. Oh wow, that caught me off guard. Thank you. I think that it's just, for one, is God's spirit and light in me, and is that positive nature that He gave to me. That I just want things to be well. I want things to work as it should work.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah. It's natural.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, baby. I do appreciate that. So what I appreciate about you today is how you really take care of yourself. Like you have, you're very mindful of your health. You have, different things that you do, a regimen almost, that you have, that includes you, exercising, taking vitamins, just different things that you do. And I appreciate that because I feel like, you're conscious of being here as long as you can with me and with our kids. And I absolutely want you here with me as long as you can possibly be. I think that when you are taking care of yourself, then you feel better. When you feel better, you look better, And I just really appreciate that. I do. And it is it's an example of leadership on your part for our family. You lead in a variety of ways that you don't even realize sometimes. And that's one of the ways.
Wow, thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Because like you said, we gotta be here, aim to be here, take care of these vessels that God gives us.
Absolutely.
As best as we can.
Yeah, we do have a responsibility to do that. It's a blessing, right, to be healthy, to have the use of all your limbs and things of that nature. So to your point, we do have a responsibility. So I just appreciate you taking care of your health. I appreciate you taking care of being mindful of your having grooming habits. All these things. It makes me want to look at you all day. So thank you again, baby.
You're welcome.
Okay, so are you ready to jump into this topic?
Yes.
Okay. So last week, you guys, you watched the video where I shared some of the things that I've done as far as self-work to make me the best partner possible for him, to make me the best person for myself, best mother for our kids. And so this week, it is his turn to share what type of experiences he's had during the course of his life and what kind of self-work he has done as well to make him this amazing man that I want to marry next year. So, you ready to get started?
Yes.
So, baby, share with me, as well as our audience, what are some things that you experienced maybe in your childhood? Maybe let's start there.
I grew up in a household with my mother, father, and sister.
Okay.
My sister, she's older than me, about 3 years. So, I was still like a little big brother.
Mm-hmm.
If she got into it, I'm in kindergarten, I'm fighting second graders.
Oh wow.
So that was the dynamic, and we grew up, close by. grew as far as religion. Like my mom, she was Jehovah's Witness, and so she encouraged my dad into the religion.
Okay.
And of course, we were children, so we followed.
Right.
And with that, was a different kind of experience because they don't believe in worship. Celebrating holidays, some holidays,
Yeah.
most holidays, really.
Yeah.
So with that experience, even in school, people have birthday parties or Christmas parties, Thanksgiving parties. We had to leave, and that was awkward, because I want some cupcakes.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand fully. I didn't understand it. Yeah, but through life, I come to learn why they did certain things.
Can I ask you? I apologize for interrupting, but how did that make you feel? Do you remember like your feeling when you had to leave the classroom?
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, it sucked. Like I was like, man, like I said, I want some cupcakes. I want to, I want to put on a hat and balloons, and I want to do all that too.
Yeah.
They didn't believe in pledging allegiance to the flag. Now that part, I didn't have a problem with it, because I don't know. I guess naturally, I just felt something wasn't right with it.
Okay.
A lot of people might not agree with that, but I do. I feel like to this day,
Yeah.
that's a type of idol worshiping to
Okay.
me.
Okay.
But so going through school with those type of beliefs, being embedded into me, I saw things were different. But I appreciate a lot of the, I guess you say, instructions and things that they did teach, because it taught you a lot about how to speak, and which helped in later in life.
Okay.
As far as being in a leadership position and being able to talk to people.
Okay.
Also kept me out of trouble, because different, they believe in different kinds of association practices.
Okay.
But, like I said, later in life, I will come to see things different, somewhat. But yeah, that was the basis of the religious part. But just going through school, like I said, I was like an older brother, but I was younger than my sister.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of people would have like older brothers. So, I had to fend for myself.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't close to, a lot of my cousins and family, because they lived in different states. And then the ones that did live close, I really wasn't close to them.
Okay.
So, going through school, like I said, I had to fend for myself. And, I went to a elementary school in which some handicapped, disabled kids went there too. So I got to see just how people treat people.
Okay.
So I seen, people laugh at, people like that. And, I didn't like it. And, like being the only boy in my family, I had to protect my sister again at all times. And it was challenging, but it taught me to be tough. And it helped me see just different sides of people.
Yeah.
And it gave me a bigger outlook on life at a young age.
Yeah. Would you say that you still have that protective nature today?
Absolutely.
So you've had it all your life.
Yeah.
Was it just natural instinct? Like, was it just something that happened? You mentioned your sister needing to protect her. Was that just out of your love for her, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it was out of the love for her. you know, because that's natural to me. Like, you know, I grew up. I mean, you know, until like I guess your memory starts. I can remember until I was like 3 maybe.
Okay.
So, you know, I just remember my sister, and I love my sister, and you know, she loved me. We played together all the time.
Right.
So when we get into school and we around different kids, and I see you talk, you know, do something to my sister,
Yeah.
or say something to her,
Yeah.
that is wrong, then I went into protective mode.
Okay.
At an early age. Plus, you know, being like, I don't know if it was like an 80s thing, or, I mean, it's still to this day period that people, you know, within your own race, complexions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I remember, you know, one time, I don't know how old I was, probably was like 5 or 6. And I remember, you know, on the bus, and this boy, he said, you know, he was dark skinned. He said, "You a white boy?" And at home, you know, my dad, he's like, he didn't really care for white people. So all I ever heard him was say, like, you know, just stuff against white people.
Yeah.
You know, which, like, again, later on I would find different.
Right.
You know, growing up, but you know, I felt, you know, offended. So what I do, I fight him. Okay. You know. So you know, it's set up, I guess, defense mechanisms.
Okay.
In myself at a young age.
Okay. So as we go a little bit farther, and you think about maybe your teenage years, your high school years. How are your high school years? Because you know, a lot of people talk about, well, I feel like there may be a mixture. Some people had great experiences their whole high school career, and some not so great. So how was your high school years?
High school was great. High school was great. You know, I was ready to get out, you know.
Yeah, where were y'all?
Right, you know, until like 12th grade, like, then I started to realize, like, man, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, mom and dad at home talking about, yeah, as soon as you graduate, you need to get you a job. And I'm like, a job?
So can we talk about that for a second, though? Because a lot of parents have that mindset. But I think about it this way, right? As a parent, have you done all that you could have done to prepare your kid for adulthood, or to work on a job, or to go off on their own in college, or to move out? Like, as a parent, have you done all that you could have possibly done? You know?
Yeah.
Because if not, how dare you say, oh, when you turn 18, and this isn't what you said, but most parents, when you turn 18, oh, you got to move out.
Yeah.
But you have done nothing to prepare them to live on their own.
Yeah. But I believe that they depend on the school system to teach us to because the school system is set up, I mean, really, to me, it's set up to train you to be a worker.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And if they went to school, then they had the same kind of mentality. You know, they got the same kind of education. Yeah. So that's the mindset is like look at the hours that you go to school. You get up at 8.
Yeah.
You get a lunch break.
Yeah.
You get out of school at 3:30. What you do on the job? You go to school. You go to work at 8. You get a lunch break. Right? It's just it's set up, you know, and there's deeper things than just the time.
Right.
Allotment. But you know, school is just set up that way. Yeah. So, you know, things are different now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some things you felt like you learned about yourself in high school or during that time period in your life?
In high school?
Yes, or when you were a later teenager, you know, heading to young adulthood.
I learned that I had high expectations for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned that I had high expectations for myself. You know, I always saw myself doing something great. Okay. You know, and being with a great woman.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did that come to be, though? Like, do you recall when that moment was, or moments where you just started to feel like, you know what, I'm definitely meant to be somebody in life, or I'm definitely meant to accomplish great things in life? Because not everyone has those pivotal moments.
Yeah, my dad, my dad, he's a big influence
Okay.
on my life and my outlook because you know his mother was killed while he was in the bed with him. Like he was like 7 years old. So
Wow.
and then his father, he didn't have his father, so he had like 7 or 8 brothers, a few sisters or something like that. But he had to work. He had to drop out of school in like 6th or 7th grade.
Wow. Okay.
To work. From what he told me, some people assisted them. I guess they had different programs back then.
Okay.
But it was up until a certain age that that didn't help anymore. So he had to drop out. Like 6th or 7th grade. But I saw him. Be with my mom and buy houses. Have nice cars and provide for me and my sister.
Yeah.
The best that they could.
Mhm.
And he was a hustler. He was a hustler, and if it was something he wanted to do, he did it.
Okay.
He had a business. It wasn't like a brick and mortar, but he had a setup that he would order things and sell them and make money.
Mhm.
Also, he would save all the beer cans, all the soda cans, anything metal. He'll save it. Get money for it.
Mhm.
Plus, he was a trash truck driver, and he picked up trash in some wealthy neighborhoods. So he would bring stuff, fix it up, sell it. I never had a bite from a store. A lot of toys. I never had toys from a store because he would get toys and bites and put them together and give them to me, my sister.
Yeah.
So he was creative. He made things happen.
Yeah.
He made nothing, something out of nothing.
Yeah. Sounds like somebody I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So, you're mentioning, you knew like from your dad's the experiences that he shared with you, and just from his influence in your life, that you knew you were going to be someone.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, if he can go through all that,
exactly,
and have this,
that's right.
Look at the head start I got.
That's right. That's right. And that's a great way to look at it. Again, we've said on our podcast several times that it doesn't take you going through something to learn from it all the time. You can learn from other people. So you chose to learn from your dad and have that drive and those aspirations. So what are some things that you wanted to do in life? Or, what type of businesses that you want to have? Because it's making sense, that entrepreneurial spirit that you have. It makes sense, it comes from your dad. But what are some things that you wanted to do?
So I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be an architect. And I also wanted to be, I think, a firefighter or something when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had fire trucks, But, when it came to graduating, I was like, I want to be an architect.
Why is that? So those are two different. They're both at two different ends of the spectrum. What is it about an architect that interests you?
I like the way. Well, I had a friend growing up, and his dad was an architect.
Okay.
And I seen the way their house was built because his dad designed it. And it was just so different, and it had different rooms, and nothing just looked ordinary. And the way he was just like a kind of like a hippie, type,
Okay.
but you know, you knew he was smart.
Right.
You know, because look what he do, and you know, he made, I'm pretty sure, a lot of money because of, you know, the things that I seen him provide for my friend.
Yeah.
And their family. And then, you know, I just always like myself, I drew, you know, I drew a lot, and I would just, you know, I just draw different types of houses, and then I used to get popsicle sticks and build houses with the popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it about a lawyer that interests you?
I used to like catching people in lies.
Oh, you know my goodness.
And yeah, I used to read books about how to read people, how to read people's body language, you know, the direction of eyes. You know, just I read a lot about that, and I used to watch Matlock.
Did we all?
Yeah, I used to watch Matlock, and that was my favorite. That was my favorite show.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to get in that courtroom and.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they'll tell everything. Yeah. Exactly.
Plus, I like the hot dogs he used to get on the show. You know what I mean? He used to always stop and get a hot dog.
That's kind of like
2 hot dogs, or one. It was 1 or 2.
We were talking the other night about the food on the Cosby Show, right?
The apple juice, the hoagies.
Yes, the hoagies for sure. So let's think about those 2 reasons why you said those types of careers interested you. And I want to fast forward a bit. We're going to come back, but you know, you were mentioning about just really studying human behavior is what it was, and then you're liking the design of things, the uniqueness of things. How does that show up in your life today, and or in our relationship?
That's a great question. So I would say it definitely shows up in when we started this podcast, like researching, like whenever we had an issue, you know, because a relationship is a structure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if something is off, then, you know, how can we fix it? So, you know, that showed up there. Also reading your body language and you know, watching you, not to see if you're lying.
Yeah. But, you trying to catch me?
You know, just make, you know, just you know, looking at your love languages, right? You know, and watching you and seeing what makes you comfortable. Like, especially at the beginning of us getting, you know, dating. Yeah. You know, just watching you and seeing what makes you comfortable, what you don't like, what you do like. Like that. And then with business, it definitely show up in what we do, how designing houses and fixing up houses.
Yeah, interior decorating business. Yeah.
Your cars. You know, so.
That's really interesting when you can look back at your younger self and determine, wow, I had these type of skill sets, or I had these genuine interests, and then to fast forward and see how they show up in your life today. Yeah. You know, I think it's important, like you said, being able to read body language, because we communicate not just with words. Right. You know, and so just think if I was a person who wasn't an assertive communicator. That means that I'm not sharing a lot of things with you. So you would need other ways. And even though I am an assertive communicator, sometimes you still have to go off of other cues. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. So let's talk about your young adulthood. How are those years?
So what years are young adulthood?
So let's start from the age of 20.
Okay, 20.
Now you're out of your teens. You're an adult now.
Okay, so like 20s, I was, you know, experiencing the job market. Okay. So I had a job. It was a place called Research Incorporated. It's like I would have to call people and do like get them to do a survey. Okay. I forgot what it was for. I was there probably a few weeks. Like,
a few weeks?
Yeah, every job was a few days or a few weeks.
Wow, what happened?
If I wasn't feeling it, because I didn't, you know, I was still at home, my mom and dad, so I was like, you know, hey, it's not working. And my dad, you know, he was like, hey man, don't ever do nothing you don't want to do.
Okay, so that was in your mind, all right.
That was it, you know. And then, you know, I had little hustles myself. So, but yeah, so I was working and, you know, dating, you know, girls. But you know, just like it was really just feeling life out.
Okay.
You know, in my 20s, like I didn't go through a lot of issues, you know, problems, anything like that. But it was just, you know, working and going to clubs.
Okay. So being out.
Yeah, being out.
Okay. So, our faithful AEA supporters know that you have a son.
Yeah.
So, what age did you have your son?
So I was 26.
26.
Yeah, I was 26. Yeah. So yeah. So okay. I forgot about his mom.
Oh my God.
So I think I did. So I was dating her. I think like at 23.
Okay.
I think about 23, 22 or 23.
Okay.
And yeah, we actually was living together. Like we got an apartment together.
Right away, or?
It was like probably like I see about 5 months or something like that.
After dating, okay.
Yeah, cause I met her through her. I worked with her mama.
Okay.
And her mama introduced me to her. That's how I met her. But it was just like slow because I was hanging with her mama boyfriend.
Okay.
So
me and him were close. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when you had your son, and you think back to prior to, you know, her even being pregnant at all. You think about your life prior to being a dad, and then your life now you're a dad. What about fatherhood changed you?
It definitely made me more careful.
What do you mean by that?
So I wouldn't put myself in certain situations, as far as places that I used to hustle or go to.
Okay.
Right? You know, I changed my surroundings. You know, it wasn't just like that, like just automatically. But you know, as time went on, you know, I'm going. You know, every time I'm looking at him and I'm thinking like, man, what if this happened? Okay. I don't want to not have. You know, I don't want to be away from him.
Right.
And I don't want somebody else raising him.
Right.
But yeah, so it changed that part. Plus it made me, like when I did get a job, I started staying on the job. So, you know, instead of a couple of weeks or a couple of days, you know, it would be like 8 months.
Okay.
Or a year or something like that.
Okay. Why was that?
Because I knew I had to provide for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you have your son, late 20s, pretty much. What happens for the next few years or so in your life? So let's say up until you're 30. So
for the next few years, so me and his mom, we separated like he was 2 or 3 months old.
Okay.
So that happened, and you know, like I said, we was living together. So I got my own place, and you know, I would get my son like every weekend, and so I was raising him and working at a plant.
Okay.
Working a plant job. I think I was doing like something with car parts.
Okay.
And I did that for a while. Then I got into another relationship. I think he was about 2.
Okay.
And by that time, you know, I was pretty steady with working a job.
Okay.
And so I got into another relationship, and I think at that point I started just finding myself as far as spiritually.
Oh, so this was late 20s still, or?
Yeah, late 20s, like 28.
Okay.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, 28. So, you know, I started just looking back on life because like I said, I always seen myself being more than where I was at the time. So I was wondering why I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to rewind.
Okay.
So, was working for a telecommunications company called MCI. This was, I think I was about 23. And, you know, there was a guy I was friends with there. And, you know, we used to hang out sometimes. You know, he had a girlfriend. But me and him used to hang out sometimes. But, you know, like I said, I had side hustle. So I used to sell pills.
Okay.
Pain pills. And I used to sell them to him, you know. He was one of my customers. But one day, you know, I broke the rule. You know, don't get high on your own supply. So, you know, he kept saying, man, just take one. Take one. I'm like, I was always like, nah, man. So I took one. And, you know, to me, it felt good. You know, it took a lot. It took away, I felt at the time, a lot of worry about why I wasn't in the place that I felt I should be. Mm-hmm. So it took a lot of that away.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there was a lot of that stayed on my mind because, you know, I had these high expectations for myself.
Yes.
Like, why I didn't go to, you know, be a lawyer? Why I didn't go be an architect? You know, I'm fighting I got these battles in my head. Like, it's never too late. But I got, you know, I got bills and, you know, life.
Yeah,
you know?
my son.
Yeah. Well, at that time, I had a son.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, it started off with just, you know, every now and then take a pill. You know, drink a pill, take a pill. But, you know, through the years, it increased, you know, with tolerance. And also with, you know, steadily trying to figure out why I'm not dead. You know, I'm trying to, you know, relieve it with that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it got to a place to where I was dependent on it, but I didn't realize how much I was dependent on it. Mm-hmm. You know, because it wasn't like I was, you know, doing anything crazy or fighting anybody or, you know, just being ballistic or anything like that. Mm-hmm. That's what I was seeing from the outside. Right. But internally, what it was doing, it was compressing my ability to move forward. And so, yeah, I got into another relationship and with somebody that was way older than me. And, you know, I was still just working jobs and, you know, battling with, like, why am I still working these kind of jobs, and I'm not getting there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I had to take a step back and, you know, I got a book. I had got a book. It was called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I think that planted a seed in me going forward. Okay. Because it spoke about the power of the subconscious mind, and I realized, like, a lot of things, like as far as music that I was listening to, the things I was around, the things that I didn't know were making impressions on my life and my spirituality. Okay. So, you know, and then I started listening to audio tapes and, you know, self-help audio tapes. I remember I used to listen to a guy named Dr. Wayne Dyer. And, you know, he spoke a lot to just, you know, working on yourself. Yeah. And, going to God and the power of God. Yes. And the things that he instills in us that we go looking for on the outside, and we try to, like, I was using the pills to suppress the problems I had with not being in the place that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, that gradually became, you know, the pill issue gradually became something that I lost control of.
Okay.
And, you know, I went to a rehab, you know, for like a week. And, you know, I got out and, you know, I not even a day out, and I'm back to, you know, I'm back to taking the pill. But, you know, again, it started out slow. And then, you know, gradually increased. And, you know, I really started to notice that it was it was actually taking more control of me than I had of myself, because my body started began to be dependent on it. It wasn't just, oh, I feel good.
Okay.
It was, oh, okay, man, I can't even, my body aching, and, you know, I don't even feel like a human, you know, without having this. So yeah, you know, it was taking more control of my body than I knew. And of course, at the same time, it's taking away from my spirit.
Yes.
Because the only thing I thought about was, I gotta get some pills. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I wake up, I gotta get some pills. And, you know, it got bad. You know, I was stealing, you know what I mean, to get the pills. You know what I mean? And, you know, when it got to that point, you know, I mean, that's awful. So, you know, that was a very low point, you know, that in my life. And, you know, the only thing that could fix it was God. You know, it wasn't, you know, a relationship. You know, because the relationship I was in, you know, I did, you know, express to her my addiction.
Okay.
And, you know, she did assist in, you know, getting into a program again to get off of them. And, you know, I did end up getting off of them. But then I ended up having a surgery. Right? Like 2 years. I'm off of them 2 years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Off on 2 years. Had a surgery. And, you know, I told the doctor, like, you know, I don't want any pain pills.
Yeah.
But what had happened was my appendix had ruptured. So, you know, at the beginning when it had ruptured, it didn't hurt. It wasn't like no terrible pain. Like, it was bearable.
Okay.
But so they admitted me to the hospital, and it just got like crazy.
Okay.
So, you know, I think they prescribed me like Dilaudid, which is the same thing as the pills I was taking. It's an opiate.
Okay.
I was taking Loratabs. That's what I was popping. I was popping Loratab pills. That's what got me up to that point. But so when I got released, they gave me a prescription for oxycodone.
Okay.
So right back then, I'm slowly, gradually, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna take these. I'm gonna just take them as I need.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see what they say when they say it's a disease. Like, I don't totally believe that, but the way the brain works and the memory of your receptors,
absolutely.
It did gradually increase. So, you know, and I'm back at it. You know, I'm back on the pills, buying pills, searching for pills. You know, I couldn't even stay at work. You know, I had a decent job. You know, I had a real good job actually.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm leaving work. You know, because I can't function. You know, and you know, I feel like at the time I had got to a place that I felt like, okay, I'm working. I'm in the place I want to be.
Okay.
it's like I went kind of backwards.
Okay.
You know, and so at that point, I realized that I have more control over myself than this chemical does, and you know, I just prayed, I prayed and prayed,
Yeah.
and prayed and prayed and prayed until he took the taste away.
Wow. So let me ask you. So first of all, that is very commendable for you to even share that with our audience. You know, we know that people go through different types of addictions, and then we just have situation in life that makes us feel like we can't manage it all, right? And we need some sort of help. And so let me commend you, first of all, for even sharing that part of your life with everyone, right? That is huge for you to do. And I know a lot of people will receive that healing and that help just from you sharing your story.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Secondly, let me ask, do you mind sharing what was that time period? Like how long were you battling with that addiction?
That's for about 12 years.
Wow.
Like, and the time, you know, it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it went by so fast. So,
Yeah.
you know, because when I look back, I was like, wow. I mean, you know, you start thinking about, too, like, man, like, all, you know, what damage has it done to your body?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, now you see me, like, I'm so, because I feel like, okay, I can reverse, you know.
Okay.
I can reverse it, you know, I can, you know, you just got to start. And then you got to start when you can start.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, and now the appreciation post, I'm commending you on how well you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So that is amazing. So let me ask you, you said, you know, you realized that, you know, you needed God and you just seeked him and you prayed and he just took the taste of the need, your body's need away from you. And were there any relapses after that time or no?
No, it wasn't.
So nothing, just move forward.
Yeah, move forward.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, and it was work. You know, yeah, I was praying. I was praying at the same time. You know, I had to listen to God when he would speak to me. You know, so if I did have the thought, let's say for instance, if I say, you know, I have thought, okay, you know, I need me a pill. You know, I can't focus without it. You know, then you know he would just automatically put a thought in my head like, now if you do this, you know this could cost you this job. You know, this could cost you this job, or like things would happen. Like, you know, I remember like times that I would actually get in the car to go, you know, pick up some pills, car wouldn't start, tire flat.
Wow.
You know, just different things that, you know, it's only God.
Only God. That, I mean, he protects us from danger seen and unseen. That's what that means.
Yes.
You know, we can see if a car is heading in our direction to hit us.
Yeah.
Right? But you going to pick up that pill, that one particular time, you don't know if that would have been what cost you your life or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, danger seen and unseen, he definitely protects us from it.
Yeah.
So, let's get into the part of your life where you met me.
Yeah.
And let's kind of, you know, I would love for you to share, you know, well, you've shared your life up until that point, right? And some things that you experienced and even some skill sets, some interests, some characteristics of yours that you brought into our new relationship. But talk to us about where were you mentally, emotionally at that stage in your life?
So at the point of me and you, I was in the stage of recovery from the addiction to the pills.
Okay.
Right? Now, with that being said, I used to drink alcohol with the pills.
Okay.
So I conquered the pills, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I felt had a drinking problem.
Okay.
So, you know, it wasn't that I was drinking all day but I was drinking more than I felt a normal person would, drinking every day. You know what I mean, multiple times a day. To me, that was an issue. So, but I kind of had control of it, right? But then at times, it may be 2 days that I would drink, multiple times a day.
Okay.
Pints, like 2 pints or something like that. But so I was in that recovery stage of that. So when meeting you, of course, we were employed at the same place.
Yep, met at work.
Met at work.
Which most love stories begin at work.
Wow. So but yeah, so and it was meeting you. Like I said, I was in a relationship previous to meeting you, and I had just maybe months before meeting you, was in that relationship. It was off and on relationship, and it was over some years. So meeting you, it was a breath of fresh air to meet somebody new that was so you're so different in the aspect of what I had previously been with. You had more insight into God, and then I seen what you had been through and losing your husband,
right? And
just seeing your strength. But you would definitely talk to me about God, and how you were working to overcome what you had went through. So at that point, I feel like I was stable. I was stable.
Okay. So, you and I feel like we started out very well. Wouldn't you say? Like I feel like
because we started off, like you said, as friends.
Yeah, and
I had never been friends with like I tell you, I never been friends with a female because I can't.
But you know what? I think it's great when relationships start off as friendships because I feel like you do need to also like your partner and not just love them. I feel like also within a friendship that like we are now, we talk about everything. Serious and not like we laugh, we joke, all of it because we genuinely like each other as well. So what do you feel like? So let's think about that first part of our relationship, right? Things were great. What are some things you feel like you contributed to the greatness in our relationship at that point?
So to that point, the greatness of our relationship, I feel like I'm a good listener, and I feel like I contributed just being there for you and being honest and loyal, being there for you. Like we both were able to have non-judgmental conversations.
Yeah.
Because we didn't come from a place of judgment,
right,
in our relationship, which most people do.
Yeah.
When it's just like we coming in this to people move so fast into some things, and so they put up this false self, so they don't talk about the things that they should talk about because they don't want to be judged.
So true.
So that was a great part. But just we were able to talk about things that I wasn't able to talk about in relationships. The relationship I had previous.
Okay.
To you, and you were there shoulder for me. I feel like I was there shoulder for you.
Yes. So things were well, and like you're saying, there was a certain level of trust. I feel like automatically, and I don't know if it came because because we were working together for like prior to, so we knew of each other. We kind of was able to see how each other operate.
Yeah.
You know, we both were in leadership positions, so we had influence over others, and so we were able to see or witness each other provide that influence to other people, right?
Yeah.
Provide that compassion, like you were talking about, listening ear, things like that. And so things were going well, and then we got to a period where things were not going so well, right? And then where we actually had a period of separation that served us well, though, you know.
Right.
So, and I can share from my perspective about me as well. But what do you feel like you contributed to the separation period?
Well, you know, I know at that point what I contributed is because I had got to a point again where I felt like I wasn't in a position to be fully a leader of a family.
Okay.
You know, because my whole thing, like I always wanted, you know, wanted a wife. I didn't want to date, you know, just date somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to, you know, have a wife because, like I said, you know, I started studying the Bible, you know, and I know what it says about marriage. I know the reality of it.
Yes.
Of that commitment.
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't feel like I was in a position to be the leader that I wanted to be. And, you know, that led to me drinking more. And then, it would cause an argument, you know, because guess what? You know, I'm impaired and, you know, I may be saying something that come across different. It didn't come out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then,
intention and perception.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then maybe, you know, it may have been something that, you know, you said, but it didn't process right through my head.
Right.
And then, you know, just with, you know, being frustrated, just especially not being, having the communication thing that, you know, not knowing about communication.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, that's a great point, right? So the episode we did, so you guys check out the episode that we did on communication. It was a life changer for us, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, definitely from the point we're speaking, which was a couple of years ago or so.
Yeah.
We definitely had an opportunity to work on our communication, but even more so during the research for this previous episode.
Right. Because it definitely, you know, it showed, you know, diving into it like we did with the episode.
Yeah.
It just pointed out extra the things that, for me, I'll speak for myself, the things that caused the breakdown in our communication that were a part of me being an aggressive communicator.
Okay.
You know, I was aggressive. You know, and that's a major issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, you know, for me, and I just want to share this part. This episode is all about you, but I don't want it to seem like you were the only participant in our breakdown, because it takes two people to make it work. It takes two people to break it up. So I'll definitely share, you know, what I feel like I contributed to our breakdown. And it was simply because, you know, I was also going through traumatic experiences where I was still grieving. And so, you know, with that, I wasn't fully myself, who you know me to be today, right? And so I operated differently. And so I wasn't as patient with you. I wasn't as understanding with you. You know, I feel like at some points I was judgmental, you know, and I started to act in that way, which is something I never wanted to do, because I always wanted to provide a safe space for you, right? And so it's almost like I would do things because I felt like I needed to defend myself, and then me doing that, now you feel like you need to defend yourself, and it's just a battle back and forth, you know? I wasn't as open to communicating with you. Like, I would shut down, and that's not healthy either. You know, you would try to talk to me about something, and then I would just either just stay silent or just tell you, I'm not talking about that. And I wouldn't. So that wasn't helpful either, right? And so there were things on both parts that we did that contributed to the separation period, and obviously when we were at that point, well, let me speak for myself because we've had this conversation, so you and I see it differently. At that point for me, I was like, okay, it's over. No regrets because I don't live my life with regret, so I didn't regret the time spent. I didn't regret meeting you or anything like that, but I was just like, okay, it's over. But to your point, you've always said it's never been over. So anyway, I just wanted to share that part too because, like I said, I'm a huge believer that it's not just on one person, to cause that breakdown. It's definitely on both parties. So we had our separation period, right? I don't really remember how long it was. Long enough, I guess, for what God said. But do you mind sharing what happened for you? Like, what was your experience during that separation period? Because you mentioned that meeting me was a breath of fresh air. I was such a different type of woman, different type of human being. I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, than what you were used to. And so, what was that separation period like? What were you doing? Like, what were your thoughts? What were your mental, your emotional state during that time?
So, it was a big time of self-reflection. So, I was able to, because the thing is, I realized, I always realize, like, when I'm not, like, through life, I always realize when it's me. So, I had to accept where I was, and I had to go to God and get discernment into where I'm at in life, and trusting Him to always have me where I'm supposed to be in life.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I had to just give Him, everything that I had issues with. Like just once and for all, I'm giving you everything. Like, I turn this all over to you. Turn all my issues to you. So yeah, so I pray to God to help me be the best person I could be for you. And He delivered.
So why was your prayer to be the best person for me instead of for yourself?
Well, I don't know why I didn't ask that, but it worked out.
It did. Like, and the only reason why I asked that question is because, you know, us separating, it sounds like was an eye opener for you. And I mean, you can confirm that or not.
Well, the thing is, I had been through that in relationships.
Separating.
Yeah, I had been through that.
Mm-hmm.
In relationships with family and relationships with the person I was with intimately.
Okay.
So, it was just like, oh, this happened again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So, if that's the case, then what was it about that time period? Like, where you just knew you needed his guidance? Like, you were sick and tired of just having to deal with, seems like some of the same things coming up, like you were mentioning about separating in relationships. Was it that? I'm trying to understand what made you just say, you know what, God, I surrender it all to you. Like, what got you to that point?
Because I hadn't surrendered it all to Him.
Okay.
I hadn't. I had given Him the parts that I felt I could give Him.
Okay.
Not everything.
Okay. All right. So then you surrender, and then what happens from there?
So from there, we got back together, and I proposed to you.
Right away.
Yeah, it was like right away.
Yeah. Why was that?
Why did I propose to you
Right away, yeah. After us just getting back together after being separated for months.
It was on my heart. I felt like I had been doing self work,
Okay.
which is I have been reading the Bible. I have been meditating on the Bible, meditating on the Word. I have been, going to nature by myself and just being with God and myself, of course. And I the things that I had to give to Him, of course, too. I have a son. You have kids. I took into account everything.
Yeah.
If I, because marrying you, we got to combine our families.
Right.
And in those prayers, I was detailed.
Awesome. As we should be.
Yeah.
We should be very specific when we go to God. And the thing is, He already has our life planned out. Every millisecond of our life is already planned out. However, we do have to go through experiences and meet people and so forth and so on for us to get to each stage that He wants us to be in.
To go back to you asking me, why didn't I ask Him to change me for myself?
Yes.
What I believe is, I had prayed about that like for years.
When you say that, what are you referring to?
Like myself.
Okay.
I had gone to God for myself. Okay, so I said, you know what? If myself isn't the words, or the words is coming from my spirit to Him, let me change it. Because if myself isn't within, because it's a language, I'm just speaking a language that we have learned on this earth. So I said, help me be the best person for her. So to your point, it's a type of sacrifice.
Absolutely. Which husbands and wives have to make. More so husbands.
I didn't realize.
But seriously, I feel like He was just preparing you, and neither one of us really realized it. I do know for a fact, though, through our conversations when we got back together, that there was self-work that was done on your part, aligning with God, and same with me, so that's why I said in the beginning that our separation really worked for us. It was planned for us, because we both needed to surrender to God in different ways, and have Him do the work that only He can do on us as individuals in order to bring us back together. And the separation served us well. It did. Because I always say and believe that without it, I don't know if we would be sitting here today.
Yeah.
So, I'm grateful for it. And I know it's you don't get that response from people often about a breakup. But we can look back. God has allowed us to look back, and He's shed some insight on what actually happened.
Right.
So, I'm thankful.
Absolutely.
So, now here we are, engaged, families combined, a podcast, several businesses, just doing a lot of great things. Now, how do you feel as it relates to all of those times in your life where you were disappointed, frustrated about not being where you thought you should be? So 2 questions. How do you feel now about where you are? Secondly, were your dreams and visions too low?
So I definitely feel great about where we are, because I don't speak as just myself anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I just believe that, like I said, He always will have you where you're supposed to be. So He has us walking in our purpose.
Yeah.
And as far as, do I believe my expectations were too low?
Yeah.
I definitely think they were too low. And it just goes to show that we can put expectations on ourselves derived from our experiences.
Yes.
And they're actually a lot of times expectations outside of us.
So what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
So when I say expectations outside of us, being a lawyer, being an architect, those are things titled.
Okay.
You don't have to be those, you don't have to have those skills that you see that are in being a lawyer or an architect. You don't have to put a title on those things. You can still be those things that you're passionate about, walking in your purpose.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense because that is exactly what you're doing today.
Yes.
You're embodying pieces of what lawyers do. You're embodying pieces of what architects do. You know, so I think that's amazing. I know that our audience really appreciates hearing more about you. They appreciate hearing about your journey. And you know what led you to be the man that you are today in our relationship, for me, for our family. You know, because people see where we are right now today, but how do we get here?
Yeah.
Right? What led us here? Did we go through things in life, or was it just all sunshine and rainbows, you know? And it wasn't that for either of us, you know. However, we fought through because we decided that the best thing for us to do is to surrender to God. And He already created us to be overcomers anyway. So we naturally were going to do that. But we've gone through a lot, you know, we fought together. And we are, like you said, definitely walking in our purpose and our calling as individuals and as a couple.
Yes.
And so thank you, babe, for sharing with all of us who you are. It provided definitely more insight, you know, for our supporters. So you guys, we've shared a lot with you in this episode. We definitely hope that you are inspired by it. We hope that you know, can relate to some of the things that babe has talked about. You know, maybe you've gone through some of those experiences. Maybe you know someone who's gone through some of those experiences. You know, we've talked about addiction, and so we'll definitely share resource links in the description of our video because we know that there is help out there for anyone who is struggling in that manner. You know, we talk a lot about our spirituality as well. God is always here. He's ever present. He never goes to sleep. He never ignores us. He is always here, waiting and available for us to just reach out and to surrender, like was shared in our episode. And so, you know, we thought again it would be very beneficial for you guys to understand who we are as individuals. Last week I shared my journey, so you got to know a little bit about what led me to be the woman that I am. And of course today, you know, this week you're watching and learning what got him to be to where he is as the man in our relationship, in our life, in our family. So with that being said, I want to share just a few things with you guys. So we always include the links to our social media pages in the description of every video. We've recently created a Facebook group. It is a private group, and it is a group that's going to really allow you some exclusivity. Meaning, you know, we'll go live on there and talk about our videos after they air. We'll even share some date night experiences with you guys and so many other things with you that we don't share on our public pages or even on YouTube. So we are looking forward to, you know, you guys joining our group. Our group just started not too long ago, and it has grown very quickly. A lot of people are definitely interested in what we're doing, you know, and appreciate the relationship positivity that we offer. So we want you to be a member as well. So if you're interested, just go to our couples Instagram page. And again, that name will be included in the description. And then send us a DM letting us know that you're interested, and so that we can correspond with you. But you're more than welcome to, like I said, join the group. It does allow some sort of privacy as well, because it is a private group. So for instance, if you have other people that you feel like will benefit from the group, they have to go through a process in order to be allowed in. So not just anyone can enter that group. You know, there's a sense of confidentiality there. There's a sense of safety and security there. You know, no judgment of opinions. We all are different. We all have different experiences. And so it makes our opinions so much different. But we appreciate all of those. So thought I would share that with you. But before we completely close out of this episode, we do have our last segment, which is the relationship tip of the week. Baby, do you want to offer that?
Sure.
Okay.
So relationship tip of the week is, if you or someone close to you is battling addiction, you know, give them a helping hand. You know, be that person that they can go to for help. Like Babe said, we'll have things in the link, so you can go and check those things out. Maybe they can help with someone that you know or yourself, but just be open.
Absolutely. So that is a fantastic tip, and I think a great way for us to close out our episode. So AEA supporters, we always appreciate you as usual. And next week we will be having our season finale. It is hard to believe we've already gone through 12 episodes, but we will be having our season finale. So make sure you tune in for that. We are planning to have a fantastic time. And so until next week, you guys take care.